Government says it has gathered sufficient evidence to prosecute members of the previous administration, led by former President Akufo-Addo, of alleged mismanagement of the cocoa board. The alleged mismanagement led to liquidity challenges, resulting in delayed payments to cocoa farmers, which caused widespread outrage. In response, the government has introduced reforms, including a reduction in the cocoa farm gate price. Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness, Boamah Otokunor, described the alleged mismanagement as, quote, crimes against humanity. He spoke in an exclusive interview with my colleague Gemma Apia.
They've moved in very aggressively, and they are doing that investigation. And I agree with the chief, who said that they must be prosecuted. Indeed, such levels of crimes are crimes against humanity and must not be left to stand.
But until you've finished the investigation, can you boldly say that they mismanaged COCOBOD?
Oh, yes.
When you don't have any evidence?
Oh, yes.
Do you have
can
now?
Say that. But the evidence is available. If you don't have evidence, what are you investigating? Most of the decisions are criminal, and they smack of criminal maladministration of COCOBOD, and it's most worrying. For example, if you look at the issue of cocoa sacks, COCOBOD bought cocoa sacks that could last for 6 years, stored them in the warehouse, brought them to Ghana, stored them in the warehouse, and subsequently, every other year after they bought that, they made that purchase, they imported cocoa sacks, huge amounts of cocoa sacks, and left them at the port without clearing them because the duties were also not being, they were not able to pay. Who does that to his country of birth? Who causes this kind of mess? And you think this is not criminal? So
you have strong evidence to take them to court?
But the evidence is what I'm saying. The figures are there.
But why haven't you started the court processes yet?
The wheels of justice grinds very slowly, but certainly it gets there.
Well, he further stated that the alleged criminal actions of the former management have left COCOBOD effectively bankrupt.
And if you look at the unaudited balance sheet, you would realize that when you sell the assets of COCOBOD, everything, including their chairs, their cars, their offices, cocoa hospital, cocoa clinic, and all those things, and you look at the debt they are owing, COCOBOD will still be running deficits of about 3.9 billion Ghana cedi. That's how bad. If COCOBOD was any institution or any organization or any asset that is being sold on the market, nobody would buy. It has completely collapsed. It's bankrupt. And so it is the bankruptcy that is the problem. The criminal acts are different matters that must be dealt with. But those criminal acts led to the bankruptcy. And because of the bankruptcy, government is not able to absorb as much as it would have loved to.
We've been listening to Boamah Otokunor there. He's the Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness. In that interview with my colleague Gemma Apia, you can catch the entire interview on our various social media platforms, on Joy News, Joy FM, on X, Facebook, and on YouTube. Let's go on to the telephone lines right now and speak to the ranking member on the Food, Agriculture, and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Isaac Yao Opoku. Isaac, grateful for your time this evening. We've been listening to Dr. Otokunor, who says COCOBOD is bankrupt because of the mismanagement of the previous administration. How do you react to that?
Thank you very much for having me. We heard about these stories right from day one, when they took office in 2025. That was January 7, 2025. You were giving handing over notes. I'm wondering why they keep saying the same thing all over again. If somebody has committed any crime, they should take that person to court. They have not paid the cocoa farmer since November. That is the issue at stake. I don't know why they are shifting the goalposts every now and then. Are they saying that when they handed over in 2017, they handed over a clean slate? Is that what they are saying? They are doing audits. Whether it's forensic audits or normal audits. I'm pleading with the auditors that they should come clear and tell us how much debt they accumulated before they handed over and how much, debts Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government also added on. They are creating the impression as if, every mismanagement, every debt in COCOBOD was all as a result of Nana Addo Dankwa's regime. That is not true. That is not fair. So whatever audit they are doing, they should be able to segregate. They should tell us how much, that they accumulated before they handed over and how much has been added on.
Isaac, just last week you raised concerns that the cocoa farmers had not been paid, and this was the response Peter Otokunor gave to my colleague Gemma Apia when she asked him about the payments. I want you to hold on and listen to this. I'll come back to you shortly.
The last 2 weeks after the announcement, when the president directed that we should raise money for them, about 4 billion Ghana cedi have been released to the LBCs. In fact, last 3 days, I spoke to the president of the Licensed Cocoa Buyers Association, and he told me that they have received the monies and they've started dispersing the monies. And the process is still on. As we speak today, the value of the payment could even change because as at yesterday, they were still processing the payments. And we are hopeful that in the next 2-3 weeks, we will be able to absorb all those outstanding debts owed to the farmers. Then the rest of the season, the LBCs can use their margins to buy at the 2,000.
So if the minority is saying that the cocoa farmers have not received the monies, government is not to blame because you've already disbursed the monies to the LBCs. Is that what you're saying?
Government has done the payments to most of the LBCs, not all of them. And remember, when the money hits their accounts, they have a long process of, it's a very complex process of disbursing to the various communities.
How complex is it?
The cocoa farmers are not sitting in one room like my office here, and you just go and give them the money. They are scattered across the country.
Dr. Opoku, your response?
Since when did the process become complex? You see, that's what I'm saying. The excuses are becoming one too many. They are becoming one too many. The emergency cabinet meeting was on Wednesday, the 11th of February, almost 1 month now. And cocoa farmers have not been paid. You see, even the reduced price, the 2,587, farmers are not being paid. And if we should go by Dr. Otokunor's narration, that they have released 4 billion, which I doubt though, but if we should take his word, to be the gospel truth, the COCOBOD chief executive himself, he told our committee that they are owing the license buying companies in excess of 11 billion. That was 5th February. He told our committee 5th February that they were owing the license buying companies in excess of 11 billion. I hope they have not accumulated any further debt. But if the amount is even the same and you have paid 4 billion, the outstanding is 7 billion. When is the last cocoa farmer going to receive payments? And you can call cocoa farmers direct if you have the capacity. For every 10 farmers that you call, if 9 of them have been paid, call me a liar. If 9 out of 10, if 1 out of 10 have been paid,
you mean 10%?
Call me a liar.
You mean 10%?
They are not paying the cocoa farmers, even at the reduced price of 2,587. They are not paying. And you see, the irony is that now even farmers cannot sell their produce, what they have produced. No license buying company is prepared to take any further produce. So they cannot sell. They cannot even get access to juicers. They cannot. They are storing their produce in used fertilizer bags. That is the situation at the moment.
Right. I want to thank you very much. But before you go, though, my colleague Pearl has a question for you. Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Dr. Isaac Yao Opoku is the ranking member on the Food, Agric and Cocoa Affairs Committee.
Now let's bring you other stories. And the global oil market is once again on edge. Crude oil prices crossed $100 per barrel earlier today as the conflict in the Middle East enters its 10th day, raising concerns about supply disruptions and the ripple effect on economies around the world, including Ghana. The spike has triggered fresh anxiety among energy industry players in the country who say the next fuel pricing window could bring higher prices for consumers. The chairman of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, Dr. Rivers Nopon, warned last week that the situation could worsen if the conflict continues.
The next window will be very interesting. Look forward to that. Next window from 16th of March, Ghana will know what real marketing is. I'm about to tell you today. Last week, we were buying fuel, AGO at SREF at 6.5. Today, it's almost 8. Is MPA controlling that? No, they can't control it. They can't control that. OMCs that were able to lock in products have gained. But if you could not lock in products and you are buying today from the market, bro, next week I said it will be very interesting. Now, MPA and COMAC is not forcing OMCs not to discount. Let's also debunk that, all right? We are not saying that nobody cannot discount. You can discount, but then the discount flow through all your networks.
That's impossible anyway. You agree with me that that's impossible, right?
Why is it not possible? It is possible. Dr.
Rivers, you know the cost involved in discounting. If you are discounting across, let's say, an OMC that has over 200 stations across the length and breadth of the country, and you want this to be uniform, simply that comes with heavy costs, especially for an OMC that is still charging, let's say, the floor price.
See, my brother, some OMCs are already discounting and across the entire network.
And you heard that the chairman of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Rivers Nopon, will be speaking to him later in the bulletin with regards to this story.
But in the meantime, though, let's go back onto the telephone lines and speak to Collins Adumaku-Mensah. He's the ranking member on the Energy Committee of Parliament. Mr. Adumaku-Mensah, grateful for your time this evening. Early today, we got confirmation that a barrel or fuel prices have crossed $100 per barrel, and there are fears that it's going to trickle down home. What do you make of that?
Well, let me do some correction. I'm the deputy ranking on the Energy Committee. When I saw the current price this morning at dawn, when I woke up, I was scared. Your guess as good as mine. I mean, these are private business owners who bring in finished products. And as you know, the best they could do is to forward that cost to the final consumer. So, as Reverson said, next week is going to be an interesting week. The next pricing window is going to be very interesting. But as you know, the price of crude plays a key role in determining the pump price. And as it goes up, obviously they will pass on that extra cost to the final consumer. I anticipate that the price is going to move up to 15 to 16 cedis. But it is my hope that the situation in the Gulf is brought to a level where everybody will be comfortable. For now, I think the information we are getting from there is quite explosive.
And Collins, what do you think the government response should be in the wake of the crude oil price crossing over $100 per barrel to at least cushion consumers?
Well, the difficulty is that for the prices on the international markets, government cannot control that. Government's only major control is how it takes care of the levies and taxes that are part of the calculation of the pump price. So at this stage, is government going to temporarily suspend some taxes or levies on petroleum products in order to cushion the final consumer? That is a decision that government has to take. Again, we are told that we have about 5 to 7 weeks of fuel left. And unfortunately, the fuel left belongs to private individuals. So the conversation about having a strategic reserve, which BOST was established to do, has come up strongly. I think government should look at that and see whether going forward they'll refocus BOST attention to its core mandate of being a strategic reserve. If BOST was doing what it was supposed to do, and in this case, I'm not blaming this government, it's been a problem with successive governments. I think by now, BOST should have had some accumulation and then push that onto the market, at least to cushion the consumer for some period of time. We are hearing other countries like China and the rest that have about a year reserve. Some have about 6 months. Unfortunately, we have about just 7 weeks, and that is quite scary.
Right. So does that mean that even with the weeks-long reserves that we have, it is still going to affect us if the prices keep going this way?
Unfortunately, my brother, I have to say yes, because as you know, the pricing window is done every 2 weeks. And by the end of the 2 weeks, fresh products have to be bought or brought in. Those fresh products will have to be bought at the new current exchange, crude price. And then even if a BDC has some reserves, being a business person, if he sells at the old price, he cannot go and buy new one at the higher price. So obviously they are going to charge a higher price, take advantage of that in order for them to have extra money to go and buy new stock at $100 per barrel. So it's unfortunate, but I have to answer negatively that yes, it's going to affect us.
Collins Adomako Mensah is the Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy Committee of Parliament. Thank you very much.
And cannot we bring in listeners a lot on the story as we go on in the bulletin, because you know that earlier the OMCs said they were experiencing some fuel shortages at the pumps. We'll be speaking to Comac on it later in the bulletin.
Right. And to other stories this evening, the Mortuaries and Funeral Facilities Agency is cracking down on errant mortuaries in the Western North region over various infractions. Japa Funeral Home, Inche, and Asankragwa Government Hospital mortuaries were shut down over various irregularities. The facilities were operating without due registration, using air conditioner instead of compressors, and registered staff, unconducive environment, among others. In a compliance exercise carried out by the agency, mortuary registers and funeral facilities, Francis Enin said the morgues will remain closed until they complied with the regulations.
The exercises, we want them to be compliant. Each and every facility should register with us and should pay for inspection so that we give them a license to operate as a mortuary so that they can do what is expected of them. So far, in Western North region, we have shut down 2, and the operation is still ongoing. Yes, if you go there, some of their issues for which enable us to close them down is about the environment, about their practitioners, the people that are practicing as mortuary attendants and processors and others. They need to register with us so that they are known. So when something happens, they can be held responsible. And we want them also to adhere to public health issues. That is our main objective of organizing this exercise. We frown over those things. We don't want them to put any food crop around a mortuary. We want them to keep the place neat. And what we have seen is not only related to that facility alone. Most of them have been doing. So we've ordered them not to grow crops around the mortuaries. So they are going to cut the plantains and then the cassava around. They are going to cut them down.
Right, and you can be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 1111 997. Let's hear your thought. What do you think about the stories we've been sharing with you so far? Fuel prices crossing $100 per barrel on the world market, and other interesting stories that we've been bringing you this evening here on Newsnight. This bulletin, remember, is live on Joe 99.7 FM in Accra. We're also live across over 30 affiliates in the country. And in other stories this evening, the Ghana Education Service is warning teachers who leave their duty posts during official school hours to visit the school's headquarters or grant media interviews to desist from doing so or face disciplinary action under the absence from duty provisions of its code of ethics. Dozens of 2024 recruited teachers have staged protests several times outside the headquarters of the Ghana Education Service in Accra, demanding that the immediate release of their staff identification numbers and payment of salaries arrears owed them be paid. In a statement, the service urged the teachers to comply with established administrative procedures. And Pearl is here. She's been going through the statement by the GES. And Pearl, what does the GES want teachers to channel their concerns to?
Well, it says that teachers with concerns regarding any issue are required to first lodge concerns with their heads of schools and subsequently escalate them through the district and regional directorate as appropriate, while the national office engages directly with regional directorates and legally recognized teacher unions duly registered under the laws of Ghana.
And Pell, the Ghana Education Service also gave a directive on regional directors. Give us details.
Well, it says that management therefore directs all regional directors to supervise district directors and heads of schools to ensure strict compliance with this directive. District directors and heads of schools must record any instance of teacher absenteeism and report it to management. Any teacher recorded on video or audio engaging media houses or found at the headquarters during official school hours will be held accountable, together with the head of the school and the district director responsible.
And the Education Service has also addressed the substantive concern of the teachers who picketed.
Well, yes, management says it acknowledges the significant progress made in clearing inherited backlogs and streamlining processing systems. However, any outstanding matters affecting individual staff must be addressed through the established administrative channels rather than through confrontational approaches directed at the headquarters or the media. And it goes on to say that such actions disrupt the focus, attention and work of management.
Thank you. You're still listening to News Night here on Joy 99.7. We return from the break with more. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back. Let's take you to our earlier story where the Ghana Education Service has warned teachers who leave their duty post during official school hours to visit the service's headquarters or grant media interviews to desist from doing so or face disciplinary action under the absence from duty provisions of its code of conduct. And speak to the public relations officer at the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi. Daniel, there are already concerns that this statement that was released by your outfit is an attempt to gag teachers. No?
Indeed. Thank you for the opportunity. It is never an attempt to gag teachers. Ghana Education Service is a very democratic institution. It is an institution that is very open to conversations, discussions, very open. You know, we work with human beings, individuals, teachers, students, parents, and different categories of stakeholders. We listen to all the different categories of stakeholders and work with their concerns. Except to say that in recent times, there has been this trend where you receive one concern, you are on it, addressing it, solving it. The next day, another splinter small group will come up that they also have a problem. They storm the various offices, disrupt activities. You take their concerns, give them assurance that you are working on them. The next day, you see another small splinter group, unidentifiable faces, who would make different claims. And so it is becoming a trend. And the observation is that all these activities usually happen during official school hours. In other words, these are periods that you would expect the teacher to be in a classroom or to be with the students. And so what management is thinking is that if a teacher has any genuine concerns, let the teacher still be in school. There are administrators, there are staff of the Ghana Education Service who are actually paid to make follow-ups on concerns of teachers, submit documents of teachers, make sure teachers are satisfied. We are urging teachers to leave the follow-ups, to leave the expression of their concerns to those paid staff to follow up for them. Who are those paid staff? They are the head teachers of the schools. These are people who don't teach. Theirs is to make sure they manage, they run the various schools. And by managing the schools, we mean making sure the welfare of the teachers are sent to management, the concerns of teachers are taken and recorded and taken to the next level. What is the next level? District directors of education or directorates. Every single district in the country has a district directorate of education. None of the staff there teaches. They are all paid every month just to make sure the documentation of teachers, concerns of teachers are taken and forwarded. Let's assume at that level too, the concerns are not addressed. We have every single region in this country has regional directorates of education. They are also paid to make sure concerns of teachers are taken registered and forwarded to the appropriate quarters. If we begin to tolerate the sidestepping of these regulatory institutions, these bodies that are paid to follow up for teachers, do the bidding of teachers, then we may end up collapsing the very institution that we are serving. If all teachers would abandon their duty or would abandon the students in the classroom, leave their duty posts, and march directly to headquarters to register their concerns, then what would the head teachers be doing? What would the district directorates be doing? What would the regional directorates be doing? And so we feel that instead of teachers combining classroom activities with follow-ups of their concerns, we believe they should focus on their classroom business and then leave the follow-ups to the various school leaders, district and regional directorates to do that for them.
Daniel, there are concerns also that why don't you deal then with the people who are in charge of, relaying the problem of these teachers if they feel that these problems are not being dealt with enough? Why don't you deal with the superiors rather than target the teachers?
In fact, we are dealing with the superiors as well. So if you observe the letter closely, we mention that when teachers are not or leave their duty post, the head teacher of the school, the district directorates in the district will be held accountable as well. Because we believe that it will imply, if a teacher has to leave their duty post and walk to headquarters, it would imply that the head teacher didn't do his work well or the district director didn't do their work well. And so we are not only talking about or to our dear teachers, we are talking to our administrators as well.
Right.
That they set up, record the concerns of our teachers and make sure that those concerns come to the appropriate management in time.
Thank you very much. Daniel Fenyi speaks for the Ghana Education Service. It's now time for business, and George Riafe is here with the latest. George, what have you got for us?
Well, Kenneth, coming up in business, Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies warn fuel prices could reach about 17 Ghana cedis per litre if a current development on the international market doesn't normalize. And Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama highlights critical measures taken to diversify the country's record international reserves, as well as build the necessary resilience to be able to withstand the necessary shocks. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. Sinter's Tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
It's been projected that if by Wednesday things are not calmed down, even though America really wants to calm down now.
Apologies for that. Let's now settle for the details. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies has warned that fuel prices could reach 17 Ghana cedis per litre from next Monday. That is, if the current record price of crude oil doesn't reduce to lower levels in the coming days. Chief Executive of the Chamber, Dr. Visnapon, has been speaking to Joy Business.
It's been projected that if by Wednesday things are not calmed down, even though America really wants to calm down now, that's as to whether Iran wants it, nobody can tell. We are going to hit around 110 to 120. If we pick the triggering price that we are seeing from the Bidex or from the BDCs today to the oil marketing companies, just looking at that factor alone in the SREP, we should hit above 15 cedis, between 15 to 17 cedis, depending on where you buy your fuel from, or depending on where any OMC bought or traded its fuel price from, because we are sourcing from different places and it could be different. Okay, and this is based on what we know today. By Thursday, we will come back and give you how the outlook from the 16th will be like.
And that is the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Revisinopong.
Also, George, on the back of that, earlier some of the OMCs were talking about, they're experiencing significant challenges in loading their products. What's the update on that?
Well, you're right on that one, because some of these OMCs at that time attributed to what they call the ICAM system that aids in the taxation issues and tax collections and all those things. But you realize that the chamber came back to explain that it is not the ICAM's platform, but rather a different platform that is supposed to help with these collection, or call it loading of fuel for these oil marketing companies. And as we speak right now, that challenge has been actually resolved, and seeing how they can decouple the ICAM's platform from the other platform that is supposed to help with the loading of this petroleum product. And therefore, they're expecting that going forward, actually, the situation should normalize when it comes to supply of petroleum products. However, it appears that some of the bulk oil distributing firms, and I use the word some, these are companies that import these products into the country. They're able to store it and then sell it directly to the oil marketing companies. It appears that some of them are not selling it to the OMCs. Some of them have hiked their prices. Some of them are trying to possibly hoard the products in anticipation of quite a significant hike. Don't forget that if you sell that product now, you're going back to the market to buy at a higher price. So how do you manage the situation to ensure that you don't end up making some serious losses when the next window opens for you to bring in a product? And that is where we've seen that happening. And that is also impacting on the supply of product for some of the oil marketing companies.
Good news, George.
Two other stories. The Ghana Union Trade Association has ruled out that its members are increasing prices due to the war in the Middle East. The development has seen several goods set for Ghana locked up in Dubai, which could impact on loans that they've borrowed from these commercial banks. Clement Boateng is president of the Ghana Union of Trade Association, and he has been speaking to Joy Business.
And I also want to take this opportunity to assure the Ghanaian public that nobody should be worried that prices are going to be increased. That
is an assurance.
That is an assurance.
You have a word from good government. We hear that because of Iran war, prices are going up.
No. We are not going to increase any price. We haven't reached there yet. And it is everybody's prayer that this war should quickly come to an end so that we will get our normal, supply chain, we will get our normal logistics for business, to come back to normal. But for now, there is no any increment of prices. That one, Ghanaian public must be assured for that.
Clement Boateng is the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Now, the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has highlighted some critical measures that has been taken to diversify the country's record international reserves. The governor said this when he led a technical team from the Bank of Ghana to brief members of the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament today. There is more in this report.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana during the meeting noted this move is part of measures to try and strengthen Ghana's external buffers by making it resilient and well diversified. The governor also revealed that through what he will describe as sustained accumulation under the program, gold holdings increased significantly, reaching over 40 tons by October 2025. Dr. Johnson Isiama also revealed that 42% of Ghana's gross international reserves by October 2025 is gold. While gold remains an important reserve asset, such a high concentration in a single asset class introduces portfolio concentration risk for countries like Ghana. He noted that the bank undertook a measured portfolio rebalancing, converting a portion of its gold holdings into foreign exchange assets in order to restore a more balanced reserve composition.
And that is a Business Desk report. And that's all for Business on Newsnight. And it appears that Pearl is really worried if these projections are anything to go by, that crude prices, petroleum prices, petrol, diesel, could reach 17 Ghana cedis per litre.
Aren't we all? That reminds us of the dark days of 2022 when the Ukraine-Russia war began, doesn't it?
Well, let's pray that things normalize in the coming days.
We hope so. It's now time for sports, and Benaya is here with the latest. Benaya, what do you have for us?
And Kumasi and Kotoko assistant coach Hamza Obeng has expressed regret to the club's supporters following a disappointing 1-0 defeat to Kerala United on Sunday. Now, the Porcupine Warriors traveled to the Aliu Muhammad Stadium for their match day 25 clash in the Ghana Premier League. The home side's victory came courtesy of a first-half goal from Malik Abubakar after Kotoko's Henry Ansu he received a red card in the 40th minute. Now, speaking after the game, Obeng apologized to the fans and urged the team to focus on the challenge ahead, despite their recent form.
To strategize on how to, overcome them, not to concede at that end, and also we wanted to use that opportunity to, equalize and then add up another goal. Unfortunately for us, the plan couldn't work, especially to get goal. But how to, maintain our shape and keep our structure in the second half, it works perfectly for us. We need to go back and then work more in our coming game. I'll say we are sorry for losing this game, but it's not over yet. We are preparing towards our next game, of which we are going home to, organize ourselves well back at training grounds, and then also during our game matches to get our win. So that it will not be a normal win. We need to get a massive win so that the supporters will also, get the confidence in us as well.
That's Coach Hamza Obeng there, and that's it for the sports segment. Over to you, Kenneth.
Well, thank you very much, Benaya, but don't go yet. You see, you have, I don't know, you've spoken about Man U, sir. You see, they lost the other time. Don't talk about Man U again next when you come here.
But I say you're a Madrid fan, so...
Yes, I am, but...
I should start talking about Madrid.
No. Thank you.
In other stories tonight, the Minister for Health, Kwabena Akando, says government paid a total of 2.6 billion cedis to the National Health Insurance Scheme in 2025. The amount is to settle debts and claims raised by service providers as of last year. Well, he made the revelation while answering questions on the floor of Parliament. First, listen to him as he bemoaned the consistent accumulation of debt under the NHIS in the previous government, indicating that a total of 5.68 billion cedis was the claim paid from 2020 to 2023.
Mr. Speaker, the claims paid over the period were as follows. 1.372 million in 2020, 1.1 in 2021, 963 in 2022, and 2.2 in 2023. This shows a decline in payment up to 2022, before a significant rebound in 2023. Mr. Speaker, I have given a table that speaks for itself. And so, for example, Mr. Speaker, we have the year, claims expenditure, claims paid, portion of the payment relating to that year, and portions of payment relating to previous years. So the honorable member may follow it carefully. So, Mr. Speaker, in 2020, whilst the claim expenditure was 1 billion in 2020, the Speaker, about 1.3 billion was paid. But, Mr. Speaker, only 473 million was respect to 2020. The rest were arrears. I hope Mr. Speaker is following. Good. Mr. Speaker, so we'll move to 2021. Mr. Speaker, when you go to 2021, whilst the claims expenditure is about 1.1 billion, claims paid is also 1.1 billion, but Mr. Speaker, claims relating to 2021 that was paid was 469 million. What does it mean? It means we're piling up arrears. Mr. Speaker, in 2022, the claims payment was 1.6 billion. Amount paid was 963. Out of the 963 that was paid, only 328 million was with respect to 2022. What it means was that we were piling arrears. Mr. Speaker, again, when we came to 2023, it was 1.8, and then 2.2 was paid, and the proportion with respect to 2023 was 1.1, whilst the rest was the arrears. So, Mr. Speaker, over the years, we've been piling up arrears. And this is what we are doing differently. Mr. Speaker, now the narrative is different. We are no more piling arrears. We are paying on time. We are paying promptly.
Well, the minister also said that 1.5 billion cedis was disbursed to the Mahama Cares Initiative. Here's his interaction with the Minority Leader Alexander Apenyomakin.
Mr. Speaker, based on these, I want to ask the Honourable Minister whether this answer suggests that 2025 payment claims have been paid to date.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, as far as I know, all claims that have been submitted to the National Health Insurance Authority without issues have been settled. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the minister claims that there is a 2,688.6 million as total claims paid to service providers. Is that correct? The figure?
Yes, Minister. The Speaker, the amount stated as read by the Honourable Minority Leader should actually be in billions and not in millions. Thank you. Very well.
The 2.6 billion payment, you say in the same year. There is some ambiguity, so I want clarification. Is it for the payment that you made for that particular year only, or it is for the entire period up to the end of 2025 financial year?
It included the arrears we came to meet.
You heard that the Minority Leader Alexander Apenyomakin speaking to the Health Minister Kwabena Mintakanda. Let's bring in our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent James Aveji. So James, we had the two leaders there. What else happened in Parliament today?
Unfortunately, we've lost James Aveji on the line there. But in other stories this evening, as rainfall patterns grow heavier and more unpredictable across southern Ghana, commercial drivers who ply the Kaswa Toll Booth Road say every downpour now tends to stretch into a death trap. Floodwaters regularly submerge large sections of the road, forcing vehicles to crawl through waterlogged portions, while hidden potholes beneath the surface damage engines. For many who depend on this corridor daily, the rainy season has become a season of anxiety. There is more in today's episode of Climate Evidence.
A commercial driver of 23 years, every dark cloud carries a quiet warning. Last year, as floodwaters gathered near Atala Junction at the old barrier, he tried to cross, hoping to beat the rising current.
One day, I parked my car office.
I parked my car at the station once and left. It rained and there was a flood. My car got destroyed and it took me 6 months to fix it before resuming work.
Climate experts say the intensity of rainfall events in coastal Ghana has increased in recent years, overwhelming drainage systems and road infrastructure that were designed for lower volumes of water. But Kingsley's story is not isolated. Drivers say the real danger lies beneath the surface. Floodwaters conceal deep potholes carved into the weakened road.
When it rains, there's heavy flood and we are unable to work.
According to NADMO, extreme rainfall events are becoming more frequent and hence due to climate change.
Because the bonding that holds the particles of the hill together are weakened by the human activity. So anytime there's rainfall, it serves as a lubricant. It lubricates the particles and then they slide onto the road and block the road.
Right, that's today's Climate Evidence there. And let's bring you some of the messages you've been sending to our WhatsApp platform. This is Matilda Ama from Keta, and she says, "Where is this freedom? There must also be justice." Thank you, the ruling NDC government and President John Mahama, for the research agenda that is helping us as a country. Yes, NDC really means unity, stability, and development. And this is from Francis in Accra. He says, "To the Clocksack leadership, they can go on strike till Jesus comes. Even nurses went, Ghanaians did not die. All they know is to go on strike for salary increment and neutrality allowance." Can they bring such attitude and knowledge by service they provide to the private sector and demand what they want from government? Why didn't MPP give them what they wanted in 2019? Are they the only workers in Ghana. This is from Gyasi in Sakumono. He says, Peter Boamah Otokunor should please spare us the talk and tell his government to act. Less talk, more action. The COCOBOD allegations have taken too long to see the light of day. What has become of the cacophony about the ECG and its apparent mismanagement by the former heads we were told about last year? That's a question Gyasi is asking. Edem from Anloga in Kumasi says the NDC is handling the MPP with kid's glove. This is why they have the guts to talk the way they are talking. The MPP ran Ghana as their insuomunam business. It is better the NDC get serious and hold the MPP government to account. Those are some of the messages you've been sending to our WhatsApp platform, and that's all time we'll allow for Newsnight tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
Have a good evening.